Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back on a Fortnite video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks and really walk through my gameplays and show you guys exactly how I'm able to win so many of my games. And in this video I do have two gameplays, both of which I dropped 13 kills, and I'll be walking through this gameplay and fully explaining how I was able to get the win, and also how I was able to go through each and every gunfight and get the win. And before we get into the video, up on the screen I have the V-Buck giveaway winner of this week, and I do appreciate all the guys who do enter the giveaway. And if you guys want to enter my next giveaway, I give away V-Bucks every single week. All you guys have to do to enter my giveaway is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, and as well subscribe to my second channel. I post a ton of really good content on there, so make sure you guys do subscribe, turn on my post notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And if you guys would like to support me as a creator in the item shop, all you have to do is go over to the item shop, go into the bottom right hand corner, support a creator, and type in my code. My code is Young Humor. Type it in and you guys will have me supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video I have two gameplays, both of which I end up dropping 13 kills. I had a 16 kill gameplay, but unfortunately it didn't save for whatever reason. It didn't save right, so I have these two gameplays, both of which, like I said, I end up dropping about 13 kills. So I want to talk through this gameplay and really explain exactly what I'm able to do and exactly how I approach every single gunfight and the gunfights I'm going into that allows me to win the gunfights and as well win the game, because I'm able to win on a very consistent basis. And I really want to talk through and fully explain exactly why I'm able to. So starting out, I have 2 kills, and I'm about to approach a gunfight where I'm going against 2 other players, and of course these players already have high ground, so I'm going to try to go for it. Unfortunately I'm not able to, and one thing that I do a ton is if I'm not able to get high ground, usually I'll drop down, not really exactly to the bottom, but I'll drop down like halfway and I'll just box in. When I box in, I typically like to box in with either brick or metal, because it gives you a little bit more time if you want to go for like an edit play or anything like that, and wood is just super easy to break. But really, if you don't have any time to do it, then I usually just box up. And when I box up, that's usually when I try to make a play. Maybe I go for a window edit or anything like that. And especially if you're going against multiple players and they know it's a 2v1, they're going to be playing really aggressive on you. So all you have to do is box in and then try to make a play from there. And maybe if they start pinching you from 2 different angles, you can basically branch out and make another box. And that's usually what I do, and it works out very, very well, because you want to try to expand as much as possible. Because if you're just in one area, if you're just in one box and you have like 2 guys shooting at you from different angles, it's gonna be very hard to try to make a play from there, because you're gonna get shot up very easily. And it also works very well if you're around buildings, because what you can do is you can maybe put a wall down, then you go to the other part of the building, place another wall down, and you can basically maneuver on the builds. And that's exactly the same thing you want to do if you're getting pinched by 2 different players. And it's usually going to happen maybe you're in a build fight or something like that. So there's going to be a lot of structures and a lot of builds, and you kind of want to use that to your advantage, because you don't want to fight both of the players at the exact same time. I think that's going to be a huge mistake, and it's going to be very difficult to win no matter who it is. It can be very difficult just to win the gunfight on 2 players on the exact same time. So if you're going up against a 2v1, 3v1, or even a 4v1, whatever the case may be, you want to try to maneuver around the builds. And what's going to happen is every single time, pretty much every single time, it's been very effective for me. And just the reason being, because when you're maneuvering around the builds and you have 2 players chasing after you, they're not going to be shooting at you at the exact same time, because if you're maneuvering around the builds, then they're not going to know exactly where you are every single time. And if there's a lot of builds, it's going to be very difficult to go for any sort of callouts, because you can't just say, he's like right in front of you. Because if there's a bunch of builds, everything's around you, it's going to be very difficult to make any sort of call out, because there's nothing really to call out other than the player maybe is like right in front of you or anything like that. But it's nothing really specific, and it's going to be very hard for their teammate to try to get any shots on you or know exactly where you are, especially when you're maneuvering around a bunch of builds. And also another reason that could be very good is if there's a bunch of buildings and a bunch of things you can maneuver around, they're going to be challenging you at different times, which is the best way to go about it, because like I said, you don't want to be fighting 2 people at the exact same time. So that's going to give you the best advantage possible when it comes to fighting players in a 2v1. And that's really some of the best tips I can give you guys when it comes to fighting multiple players at the exact same time. You want to try to make it in a ways that you have to challenge people at a slightly different time. time, because you want to fight both of them. You're going to be build fighting both of them, whatever the case may be, but you want to be able to fight and shoot at one at a time. You don't want to try to focus all of them at the exact same time. It's going to be very difficult to do so. And here again, I end up getting cracked for pretty much all my HP, so I boxed in, and when I boxed in, I made sure I boxed in with bricks, so it gave me a little bit more time, and just enough time to get off all my heals, make a different play, come from a different angle. And also, one other thing that I think is really important, I might have mentioned in a video before, but honestly, when it comes to some of the best loadouts to use in the game, best weapons, I can honestly say the combat shotgun and the heavy sniper combo is going to be one of the best loadouts or best weapons to use in a gunfight, just for the reason being the combat is just super OP, super good, hit long ranges, short ranges, and you really don't have to have an SMG or anything like that when you're using the combat shotgun. So when you're using the combat and the heavy sniper, it's going to be one of the go-to weapons in this game. And just the main reason being is if someone's boxed up, it doesn't matter if it's wood, brick, or steel, it's going to be very easy to make a play on them. And just the reason being, and one thing that I like to do a ton that works very well is, so if another player is boxed up and I have a heavy sniper and a combat shotgun, I know I want to break inside of one of their walls. So what I'm going to do is usually I'm going to go above their box, and when I'm above their box, they can't really tell exactly what side I'm going to break into, which gives me a huge advantage. And even if I only want to break in one side, it doesn't really matter, because the second you go above that player, they really just can't tell exactly what side you're going to try to break into. So when you're using the heavy sniper, just go above them, go above their box, and then drop in on any side that you want to drop into, and more than likely you're going to be able to get inside of their box, because pretty much the only way to counter this is they're going to have to already be turbo building on that side. But if you're above their box and you just jump down at any time, it's going to be very difficult for them to try to read and try to see exactly where you are, especially if they're building out of steel or brick. They're going to have no idea which side you're going to come onto, because even if they hear you jump down, more than likely you're already going to have your heavy sniper shot off and you're already going to be inside of their box. So that's why the heavy sniper is just such a good weapon to use, and the combat shotgun really does complement it very well, just because you don't need an SMG or any weapon like that. As soon as you get in their box, you just spray the mess out of them with a combat shotgun, and they're not going to be able to do any sort of counters. Maybe they could place a trap, but most of the time they're not going to have any time to do so, and even if they place the trap, you're already going to have that player killed. And so the next fight I'm going to be going into, I'm going to be fighting two players who are just sitting there boxed in. So the best thing to do, and the best thing that I want to do, is immediately go for high ground. And more than likely I would have probably landed on them, but when you're going to land on players who are already boxed in, you want to be careful that they don't place any traps or anything like that if you try to drop right in on them. So the best thing to do is, if they're boxed in, or it really goes for anybody who's in a box or anything like that, you want to try to land on them. It could even be if they're on a platform or anything like that, really doesn't matter. But say if someone's camping in a 1x1, the best way to land on them is to land on the edge of the wall. And the reason being is, even if they play traps, it's not going to hit you. And even if they want to try to do anything, maybe jump up or try to build around you or anything like that, they're not going to be able to, because what you want to do, like I said, is you want to land on the edge of the wall, which means it's going to give you the perfect advantage, because no matter what they do, you're going to be able to counter it. They can't place a trap on you, and even if they want to build, you're already going to be above them. And the only thing you're going to risk, which could be the worst part, is just taking a ton of damage when you're trying to land. And that's one thing to be very careful about, because I noticed in the past few days, I've lost so many games and died so many times just from getting shot out of the air. Maybe it's from the slipstream, from a launch pad, anything where I'm kind of launching it on another player and I have my glider out. So one thing to really keep in mind and really pay attention to is making sure you pull your glider as late as possible, because I just been getting beamed out of the sky, and really the player can even use a combat shotgun if you're close enough, so they really don't even have to focus on aiming or really focus on doing anything but just spraying their shotgun. And it's just one thing to keep in mind, and just something that I've noticed and I've died to time and time again the past few days. So really keep in mind when you're using your glider, when you're using the slipstream, whether you're using the launch pad, just remember every single time you go to launch pad to slipstream, and even if you're really not trying to focus on right landing on the player, or maybe you're trying to land next to him, doesn't really matter. You want to try to pull out your glider as late as possible, because trust me, I've been dying game after game just because I'm getting shot out of the sky. And even if I'm able to maybe not get shot out completely, maybe not die just from them shooting at me, I'm going to be very low on HP, and overall it's just not a good time. So that's one thing to really focus on and keep in mind, because it's just something that I started dying to, and something something that I've noticed recently. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like. And as well, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.